Now again, as I told, again we are not much concerned with wave picture, particle picture like that. As I told, we need to find what is the law or rules that is played by the nature, and once we understand that one, we can what you call we can so generate one mathematical framework of the whole theory and all, and that not only to explain earlier phenomenon which are not explained, just like atomic spectra, what you call low temperature, specific heat. So like that, again whatever we have, so that is to predict new phenomenon also. That's why we need to understand that rule. Is that okay? Now double slit experiment. Double slit experiment. Okay, so this gives us very good insight towards that one. So that's why I'm trying to do it with more what you call effort here. Okay, so we shall first do double slit experiment with bullets. Okay, now again I have a gun here. I have a gun. I'm shooting the bullets. Okay, so you better place this gun very far away so that all bullets are coming parallel. Okay, if you are shooting from very far away distance, bullets are almost coming parallel, isn't it? Just like in case of light, isn't it? If you have light source very far away, you will have parallel beam of light. Okay, I am going to shoot that one into a wall which contains two holes. Okay, I am going to shoot that one into a wall which contains two holes. Is that okay? Double slit like that. Okay, so these are holes in a wall. So and I am going to have a what you call bullet detector here somewhere. Okay, some arrangement. You can think like that. Okay, these are holes in. So I'll call this one as hole 1, hole 2. Is that okay? In the wall you have two holes which acts like a double slit. Okay, and I'm going to shoot a bullet here. Okay, I'm going to shoot a bullet and I'm going to observe the pattern here. Is that okay? I'm going to observe the pattern. Now look at here. In this experiment, I'm going to define probability. Okay, that probability means, look at here, I'm going to shoot 1000 bullets, or I'm going to shoot 1 million of bullets. Okay, so after 1 million of bullet, I'm going to find what are the how many bullets are received at each point on the screen. Okay, so then what I can do is, so I can count total number of bullets received on the screen. Okay, I can have that count always. Okay, so now what I do is, to find any probability of finding the bullet at any point on the screen. Okay, what I do is, I am going to find total number of bullets received at this point. So number of bullets received at this point divided by total number of bullets received throughout the screen. That will give me probability of finding the bullet here. I hope you know something about probability. So favorable divided by total, isn't it? So I will count total number of bullets received here on the screen after some time. Okay, I'll do the experiment for some time. After some time, I will count total number of bullets received on the screen. Okay, so then I'll find what is the number of bullets received at some point, so that I can take that ratio, number of bullet. Suppose this is some x here. Okay, distance x from the center of the slit. Okay, I'll find number of bullet received at x divided by total number of bullet. So that will give me probability of getting the bullet at this point. Okay, so that's how again we can define probability of getting the bullets here, or you can talk about intensity of bullet also, isn't it? So more number of bullet received per time, then after long time you will get more number of count over there. Okay, you can define intensity also, or probability, whatever you want. Is that okay? The next idea is, look at here, I am going to close this what you call this hole in the wall. I am going to expose only this one. Okay, so then what I get is, I am going to get one probability distribution. Okay, I am going to get probability distribution that is like this. Is that okay? More number of bullets received here, less number here. Okay, it's going to decrease. Is that okay? I'll get probability distribution here. I call it as P1. P1 means probability distribution of the bullets when you open only first hole. Okay, so similarly what I do is, I am going to close hole 1, I am going to expose only hole 2. So then what I get here is, I will get this kind of probability distribution, P2. I call this one as P2. P2 is the probability distribution of the bullet, okay, when you expose only hole 2. Now look at here, when I expose both holes, I am not moving the slit, okay. I am not moving the slit, I am just trying it again. Now look at here, when I expose both of these, look at here, you will get a pattern, which is like this, okay. This probability distribution is nothing but merging of these two. Is that okay? So P is equal to P1 plus P2. Okay, when you expose both of these holes, you will get this probability distribution, which is just a merging of these two. If you just merge these two, you will get this one. Is that clear? So this is in case of bullet. Yeah.
So in the P1, when outside the P1 it is 0, the probability is 0.
Yeah. Actually, again, this should be quite sharp. Okay. What I do is I am going to place this again. I am going to make slit width very small. This will be very sharp in case of bullets. Okay, because you will find bullet only very narrow stream here. Is that okay? You will find very narrow stream. But what I do is I am going to make this slit width very small here. Okay. I mean, so this is quite diffused. It will be not that sharp. Okay. It will be quite little bit diffused. It will be more diffused in case of electron. We shall see that one. Diffraction effect. Here you will not have much diffraction effect, but little bit diffused pattern. Okay. I'll say like that. That's a good question. Now this is in case of bullet. Obviously you don't what you call again. How do you find this one? This probability distribution. You count number of bullets received at this point, and you divide that by total number of bullets that is received on whole screen, and you will get the probability distribution, isn't it? Now look at here. That is equal to P1 plus P2. Why? Why that is equal to P1 plus P2? Now look at here. So obviously you don't have any observable wave behavior in case of bullets, isn't it? This is macroscopic body. Are you getting my point? So we can't expect any observable wave behavior. One more thing is, so again, the same pattern is true if you shoot one bullet per time and if you observe for long time, the same pattern is true. Is that okay? So let us understand the whole thing for when you shoot one bullet per time, which is the simplest case. Is that okay? So now look at here. Now one more thing you need to remember. Remember this maxima in the probability, that doesn't mean you are receiving big bullet. Okay, that means you are having more number of bullet per time, or again, so total number of bullet received at this position is more at the end of the experiment. Okay, be careful. It's not exactly same as wave. Okay. Now look at here. I'll shoot one bullet per time. Then, so obviously this should follow our classical ideas. Those bullets should pass either through hole 1 or through hole 2. You can have count first bullet, second bullet, third bullet, fourth bullet, isn't it? So 1000 bullet like that, isn't it? First bullet it may pass through slit 2. Second bullet it may pass through slit 1. Third bullet pass through slit 1. So fourth bullet that may pass through slit 2, isn't it? Like that. Again bullets. Again classical idea, isn't it? Bullets will pass either through slit 1 or through slit 2. The bullet should pass through one of the slit. Are you getting my point? Bullet should pass through one of the slit. Are you getting my point? So that will happen. Now again, suppose if you have 1000 bullets, okay, which are fired. Now again, so among those 1000 bullets, okay, so 500 bullets might have gone through slit 1. 500 bullets might have gone through slit 2. Not first 500 pass through slit 1, next 500 slit 2. Okay, it is alternative or in any manner. Suppose if 1000 bullets are fired, 500 bullets will pass through slit 1, 500 bullets will pass through slit 2, because I kept this gun very symmetrically with respect to these two slits.
Sir, can you say the exactly graph that one, or it is?
No, not exactly. It will be still narrow. Okay, it will be still narrow, because there will be no diffraction effect. What I am saying is, I'll make this slit width very small. Okay, very small. Then if you have very small, you will have quite spreading kind of thing that may be there, one thing. And I'll make this one also very small. Okay, so the approximated curve. Okay, now look at here. Now what I am saying is, so since if you shoot what you call 1000 bullet, even though you are not observing, So again, half of the bullet again will pass through slit 1, half of the bullet will pass through slit 2. So then obviously the resultant pattern is just what you call these just addition of these two, isn't it? Because each bullet will pass through either slit 1 or slit 2. That's quite very common sense, isn't it? Our common sense says that it should pass through either slit 1 or slit 2. All bullets which pass through slit 1, it will make this pattern. All bullets pass through slit 2, it will make this pattern. So the total pattern is this one. That's a very simple idea. Is that okay? Yes. Now again, obviously, all bullets again bullet should pass through either slit 1 or slit 2. All bullet pass through slit 1 produces this pattern. After 1000 what you call bullet fire, all bullet pass through slit 1, it will produce this one. Even though you are not observing, suppose. Even though you observe, bullets are not disturbed actually. Okay. So then the resultant pattern is this one. Obviously, we can't have any observable wave behavior here. Okay. So this is the experiment with the bullet. Is that clear?
So what's the
Again, this is a kind of distribution. Am I right? Continuous distribution. It has a minima in this side, maxima here. So if you have only 6 bullets, you can't have this pattern. To have this pattern, you have to shoot millions of bullets. You can't have this kind of continuous pattern. To have continuous pattern, you should take a lot of trials. I mean, you should shoot millions of bullets. Otherwise, your distribution will not be this continuous, whatever I have drawn. Now we do experiment with electron.
Sir, what happens if any bullet hits the space between slit 1 and slit 2?
No, I am not concerned about the bullet which is hitting any other part. I am concerned about the bullet which is receiving the screen. This is very important part. Bullet have got 3 choices. Okay, either it should pass through slit 1, or it should pass through slit 2, or it should hit other part of the wall. But I am not concerned with those bullets. Whatever the bullet I received on the screen, I am concerned with that one. Whatever the bullet received on the screen, it is either passing through slit 1 or passing through slit 2.
That's why you're saying
Either or. This is very important. If I go for electron, so now apparatus should be very small. Okay, and slit width should be also as small as possible, because electron de Broglie wavelength, isn't it? You should think. So now again, this apparatus is small, but still I am going to draw it quite big. Okay, so that again we can draw comfortably on the board. Okay, so if you have again electron gun here somewhere here. Okay, so electrons are shooted. Again, they are shooted from very far away distance, so that electron beam is almost parallel. You can think like that. Okay, so now look at it. I have slit 1 and slit 2 here opening. So now again, you can have this electron kinetic energy, isn't it? You can have electron gun, and you can have some acceleration, some potential difference acceleration like that, so that you can have some kinetic energy of this electron. Okay, so that again you know the de Broglie wavelength also, so that you make this slit width comparable with the de Broglie wavelength. That's why this apparatus should be very small. That's what I saw. Okay, now look at here. When I now exactly the same thing, isn't it? Because the particle that we have sent, those are electrons. Am I right? You can count. You can have an electron counter here. You can have an electron counter here. Is that okay? Now look at here. When you close slit 2, when you expose only slit 1, so you will observe this pattern. Now this will be more diffuse. I am going to take it like this, because there will be diffraction effect also that we are going to discuss in the next session. Are you getting my point? So because these slits are very small, so there will be some diffraction effects also. Okay, so I will call it as P1. Now relatively this is more diffuse than earlier. I hope now you are okay with that one, isn't it? Now look at here again. So this is the probability distribution when you expose only slit 1. Probability means again you have to count number of electrons received here divided by total number of electrons received throughout the screen, and if you take the ratio, you will get the probability. So that you get more electrons received here after some experiment, less electrons received here, like that. Okay. So similarly, if you close slit 1, if you expose only slit 2, you will have this probability distribution. Is that okay? So P2, I call it as P2. Is that okay? I call this probability, may not be exactly same, just make it comfortable. Is that okay? But when I expose both slit, I am not moving the slit. Okay, I am drawing the same thing here. when I expose both of the slit, look at here, the surprising part is, you will get interference pattern. Is that okay? Which is, I call this one as P12, okay? I call this one as P12. P12 means when you expose both slits. This P12 which is not equal to just P1 plus P2. If you add these two distributions, you should get some continuous distribution, not maxima minima, isn't it? But that's not equal to P1 plus P2. You can observe interference pattern. Obviously, we know de Broglie hypothesis taught us that it has wave behavior. Obviously, it will follow some interference pattern. We can say like this, isn't it? But our idea is not to do that. Our idea is to understand what is the rule that is played by the nature. Now remember, the same thing is true if you shoot one electron per time here and observe for long time. Shoot one electron per time, observe again, wait for long time so that millions of electrons are shooted. So then also you get the same what you call pattern here. Is that clear? Wait, if we place, no, again, I am not observing, wait a second, I will come to that point. What happens when we observe like that, okay? I will come to those points, okay? First we shall understand when electron is not observed, okay? When, again, I will come to that point tomorrow. I told which is big, which is small, isn't it? It is quite related to that one. So I will come to that measurement thing later. If you observe through which slit electron pass through, I will come to that one later. Now suppose it is undisturbed. Suppose electrons are undisturbed here. What again? The whole thing is what you call, the whole experiment is done in the dark room. Suppose there is no photons also to disturb the electron. Is that okay? Let me assume like that. Later I will come to measurement part. Is that okay? Now look at here. We shall try to understand this. Even one bullet is shooted per time, then also the same pattern is observed. Okay. Now look at here. Now when you see this pattern is exactly same as optics Young's double slit experiment. Now we need a mathematics which connects with where P12 is related to P1 plus 8. P12 is not directly related to P1 plus P2 like P1 plus P2, isn't it? It has some other mathematics. This pattern is following some other relation of P12 and relation of P12 with P1 plus P2. Since this pattern is very similar to the pattern that we observe in case of light, in case of Young's double slit experiment. So what we do is we will go back to that light double slit experiment, we will check out what mathematics is followed here and we can copy and paste the same mathematics here. We need a mathematics, what mathematics it is following. Okay, how P12 is related to P1 plus P2. If this is not equal, so then what kind of in what way P12 is so related to P1 plus P2. Okay, now I will go to optics. Young's double. So yes.
Sir, why we are expecting to be equal P1 to P1 plus P2, sir?
Because again, bullet should this electron should either pass through slit 1 or slit 2. Isn't it? It's a particle.
But sir, if I close to slit 2, then the probability from passing the slit 2 is 0. And if I expose both slit, then if the probability from passing the slit X and the probability
Wait, once again, let me convince in my way. Suppose you have shooted 100 electrons, okay? So among 100, suppose half of the electrons are passing through slit 1, not alternatively. Our classical idea says like that, isn't it? If you shoot, suppose 1000 electrons, half of that one will pass through slit 1, half of that one will pass through slit 2. Because you are placing your gun very symmetric. Is that okay? So now look at here. All electron which are passing through slit 1, it is producing P1. All electron which are passing through slit 2, which is producing P2. When you merge this pattern, you should get P1 plus P2. Electron should pass through either slit 1 or slit 2 according to our classical idea. Our classical thinking says electron should pass either, whatever electron received here, it should have come either through slit 1 or through slit 2. Isn't it? Whatever the electron received on the screen, it should have come either through slit 1 or through slit 2. Okay? All electrons which are received on the screen which came from slit 1, it will produce this pattern. All electron received on the screen which came through slit 2, it will produce this pattern. So your merging should happen. Am I right? Merging of these two patterns, which is continuous.
So
But that's not happening.
Up to there, P1 and P2, it's like bullet.
I mean,
After
our idea is just like bullet, electron should also follow the same pattern. But it is not following the same pattern.
when we watch that behavior, this is not like the bullet earlier.
Yeah, again, it is not like the bullet. Again, you can say that because of wave nature, it might have happened, but that is not complete understanding. I get my point. We want to have more and more understanding. Is that okay? And we shall see the mathematics in the optics experiment. So can you hold your doubt? Can you ask later? So quickly write down your doubts. Quickly write down your doubts so that you can express later. Okay. Now this is quite big. Okay. This is not as small as earlier because you are dealing with visible region optics experiment. Suppose. Is that okay? You have light source here. Light source here. Again, source is kept very far away so that so parallel beam of lights are falling here, monochromatic beam. Okay. So now look at here. Now in case of optics double slit experiment, we don't call this one as probability, we call that one as intensity actually, because we are trying to explain this one using wave theory, isn't it? So intensity, which is proportional to amplitude square like that, isn't it? So I call this one as I1. I1 is the intensity pattern that you can see on the screen when you expose only slit 1 by closing slit 2. Is that okay? I2 is the intensity pattern that you observe by exposing only slit 2 by closing slit 1. And I12 is the, again look at here, these dimensions are different, okay, the total apparatus dimensions are different. For electron it should be very small, for optics it is quite big compared to electron double slit, but I have drawn on the same board, same pattern. Is that okay for you? Yes. So I12, when you expose both of them, so that's again not equal to I1 plus I2. Obviously we know what is happening here, okay. Now let us closely see the mathematics here, okay. Let us closely see the mathematics. I will just write I12. Now look at here, how do you define intensity in case of light? Intensity proportional to amplitude square. What is the amplitude here? We are talking about electromagnetic radiation. That amplitude is nothing but electric field amplitude. So let me write it here, okay. Intensity actually proportional to electric field amplitude square in case of electromagnetic wave. But what I do is I am not concerned with that proportionality constant. I am going to write equal here. In this experiment, I am not concerned with that proportionality constant, because later I will write in terms of intensity. I am not keeping that what you call electric field in the later part. That's why I will write equal. Okay, there is proportionality constant. We shall work it out in optics part. Okay, I am going to teach geometrical optics. Okay, little not geometrical, physical optics. Okay, I am going to teach some part of that later. Now I am going to take intensity is equal to amplitude square. Okay, electric field amplitude here. We know what is that one. It's the electric field. We know exactly what it is. What is the amplitude of the wave? What is that one? That is electric field, magnetic field. Like we don't take magnetic field in optics, we take electric field. Is that okay? Now look at here. What is this I1 then? So I1 I can write it as E1 mod square. What is E1? E1 is the electric field of the electromagnetic wave that came from slit 1. Okay. Similarly, I am going to write I2 is equal to E2 mod square. What is E2? E2 is the electric field of the electromagnetic wave that is coming from slit 2. Because I1 is the pattern you got when you close this one, isn't it? Then whatever the electric field, so again this is the electric field of the electromagnetic wave which is coming from slit 1, obviously. Isn't it? So again in optics, if you try to write this one, look at here, E1 vector is equal to E0 vector amplitude, okay, e power minus I or e power I k1 dot r minus omega t plus epsilon 1. We are going to write like this. Yes. In case of optics, again we shall see this one in after Maxwell electromagnetic theory. Okay, E2 is equal to I'll write E0 only. Okay, this can be E1 naught, this can be E2 naught, but these two are equal actually. So that's why I'll write the same amplitude here. because this is placed very symmetrically between these two. So e power I k2 dot r minus omega t. Omega is same because I'm taking monochromatic light here. Okay, omega is same. Plus epsilon 2. These are phase. Okay, these are initial phases. Okay, now look at here. What is E1? E1 is the electric field of the EM wave which is passing through slit 1. E2 is the electric field of the EM wave which is measured here. Okay, these are measured here. So electric field of the EM wave which is passing through slit 1. When you expose both of the slit, then you know what is happening here, isn't it? Superposition principle, optic superposition principle. I better say optic superposition principle because the same word we are going to use in quantum mechanics. Okay? Yes, yes. Speak out.
Sir, here amplitude is same. Why, sir?
Because again, this slit is equidistant from the source. That's why again this intensity is same here. Okay. Are you getting my point? That's why I made this. Or you can put E10, E20. Suppose if you are not
Mathematically you could prove it.
No, so place E10, E20. We shall see later. Okay. Yeah. Now look at here. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Speak out. Speak out.
Page.
No, I'll explain this thing. Okay, these are initial phase angles actually. Actually, these you can take this one equal to this one in this case because we call this as amplitude division. Am I right? There will be no phase difference in this case. I have written the most general equation. Okay, so this kind. Why? Wave vectors are different, but magnitudes are same because it has a different direction. Am I right? Are you getting my point? This will talk about direction of wave transfer, isn't it? So that's why wave vectors are different, but modulus are same because wavelengths are same. Okay, but wave vector will talk about propagation direction actually. That is different if it pass through slit 1, pass through slit 2. That's why that should be different. Okay. So then we have optics superposition principle. Which says amplitudes are added first, isn't it? Amplitudes are added first when you expose both of the slit. Okay, at any point on the screen, when you expose both of them at any point. So electric field amplitude from the slit 1, electric field amplitude of the EM wave from the slit 1, electric field amplitude of the EM wave from slit 2. So those are vectorially added. Then they produce some. So as a result, they will produce some intensity. Okay, electric fields are added first at any point on the screen. Is that okay? So now look at here. I12 is equal to mod E12 whole square. That's equal to. I'll better to write direct expression here so that we shall discuss in what you call in case of optics. Okay, so that I can write this one as I1 plus I2 is equal plus 2 root I1 root I2 cos delta. Can you see this one? Can you see that expression? I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 root I2 cos delta, where I'll write delta. Delta is equal to actually I think k2 vector minus k1 vector dot r plus I think epsilon 2 minus epsilon 1. Okay, this is again this is if you make this one constant, we call that one as coherent source. Okay, so this I think this is a kind of this will give a kind of path difference something. Okay, you can anyway we shall discuss later. Okay, so depending on what you call screen, there will be different path differences, so that you will have what you call different. Again, now look at here. This will explain this pattern. Okay, So you don't have to worry about that one. Okay, we shall discuss in optics. So now this delta, that delta varies, isn't it? The delta, we call it as phase difference. Am I right? Phase difference of the wave which is passing through slit 1 and slit 2. Phase difference between the waves which are coming from slit 1 and slit 2. Okay. So now, so that phase difference is different at different point on the screen because path differences are different. That's why you are getting, again, this will explain this will explain this pattern. And we got how I12 is connected to I1 plus I2. So can I write like here like this? I12. We got how I12 connected to I1 plus I2. Now look at here, observe here. We had a principle, we had a rule which connects amplitude, not intensity. Yeah, we got a relation which connects intensity. Okay, but what is the very fundamental rule? That fundamental rule is not something which is connecting intensity. That fundamental rule which is connecting amplitude. Observe that one. Are you getting my point? We got a fundamental rule here, rule of nature. What is that? Amplitudes are added, then the intensity is decided.
So before going to intensity, we are saying.
Yeah, again, before going to intensity, you should define amplitude, which is more fundamental. Isn't it? Amplitude is more fundamental than intensity. Fundamental, basic, isn't it? And this principle of superposition, that plays very major role, remember, again, in explaining this pattern. And that principle, that rule, that exists with the amplitude, not with the intensity. That fundamental rule, again, that exists with the amplitude, that just observe that one, okay? I think that these two things you should observe. This plays more important role here, this principle, okay? And one more thing is, so prior to define intensity, you have defined more fundamental quantity, that is electric field amplitude or wave amplitude, you can say like that. Is that okay? Now I will go back to again electron double slit experiment. Electron double slit experiment. Is that okay? I will use the same diagram. I hope you are okay with that. We say when that delta is equal to 0, we say they are in phase. So delta is equal to 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, we say they are in phase. When delta is equal to pi, 3 pi, we say they are out of phase, isn't it? I hope you know some basic part of that one, okay? Now again, I'll take again, the whole apparatus is small, okay? The whole apparatus is small, so that again, you are shooting electron here. You can take one electron shooted per time also, okay? Now look at here, if a pattern is same, if pattern with the electron that is same as that of light, then mathematics should be same, isn't it? So then look at here, in case of electron, so look at here, we have P1, P2, which are probability distribution, am I right? So this is P1, 2, isn't it? We don't call it as intensity distribution. You can call it as intensity distribution also, electron intensity. More electron received at here per time. Suppose if you shoot the electron continuously, you can say that more number of electrons received here per time. You can define intensity of electron also rather than probability. But again, we take probability, that is the more so better word, okay? Now look at here, prior to define probability, you should define something, I don't know, what is that? Is that okay? We define something. We call it as amplitude. We call it as probability amplitude. Earlier it was a wave. We call it as wave amplitude, electric field amplitude. Now since, yes.
Sir, probability depend intensity.
Probability, you can say this one as intensity. That's what I am saying. Because if you do experiment continuously, then intensity of electron means just like intensity of photon. How do you say intensity of photon? More photon per second, isn't it? More number of photon per second. So like that you can define intensity of electron also, but I am going to define probability, which is better than intensity in case of electron, because if you stop the experiment then you can't have any intensity. Then you can define probability, isn't it? Are you getting my point? If you are doing experiment continuously, then you can have a count per second, number of electrons received per second. But if you do experiment for some time and if you stop that one, then probability is the better one. Are you getting my point? Now look at here, we are forced to define a quantity whose mod square is p, isn't it? Because we want to copy the same mathematics that happened in case of optics. Is that okay? We call that one as probability amplitude, this psi. We call, again, prior to define probability, we are going to define some quantity psi. We call it as psi, where probability is equal to mod psi square. So we call this one as probability amplitude. This one we call this one as probability amplitude. Actually, this is a distribution function. Okay, let us discuss later. Here you will not get 100% clear-cut picture. Then again, I am copying the same mathematics. What is that? These amplitudes are added. This amplitude is more fundamental. More fundamental, even though I don't know what it is. It is more fundamental. I don't know what it is. That's why let it be complex. Who knows, isn't it? We don't know what it is. Let it be complex. That is the most general. Let it be complex function. But look at the necessity here. Look at the necessity. Okay, what is the necessity? You need to define kind of amplitude before defining probability. We call it as probability amplitude. We don't know what it is. Earlier we knew what it is. That is real electric field amplitude. Is that okay? But here we don't know what it is. Again, since we are copying the same mathematics, now look at here. When you expose both of the slit, what should happen? Psi 1 2 is equal to the resultant amplitude kind of concept. That's equal to psi 1 plus psi 2. And then P12 should be mod psi 1 2 the whole square. So that will give again P1 plus or mod of psi 1 plus psi 2 the whole square. This will give you P1 plus P2 plus 2 root P1 root P2 cos delta. Delta is again you can call it as phase difference. Now this will explain this pattern. This equation will explain this pattern. So now look at here what happened here. Is that okay? When you expose both slit, amplitudes are added. Is that okay? Amplitudes are added. The same result is true even if you shoot 1 electron per time. Remember that part. Is that okay? Now look at here. Even if you shoot 1 electron per time, in case of electron also, look at here, this maxima doesn't mean that you are getting big electron here. This minima doesn't mean you are getting small electron here. We are getting electron only. Whatever that is received on the screen, that is electron only, full electron only. Okay? What is the minima in What is the minima in the pattern? Minima in the pattern means less number of electrons are received here. Probability is less here. Maxima in the pattern is more number of electrons is received here. Probability is more here. No, for one electron you can't show this pattern. You need millions of electrons to show this continuous pattern. One electron, it may be received here, here or here. We can't judge that one. Let us first try to understand single electron experiment, because the same thing is true if you send one electron, isn't it? Now again, for a single electron, what is this psi 1, psi 2 and psi 1, 2? First we shall try to understand that one. What are these psi, isn't it? What are these psi? Now again I am going to compare it with electric field, whatever we have taken earlier. What was E1? E1 was the electric field of the EM wave that was coming from slit 1, am I right? E2 was the electric field of the EM wave which was coming from slit 2. So similarly, what I say, psi 1, again we are going to define a state here, just like Bohr orbit, ground state, first exit state, like that, isn't it? We are going to define a state here. So psi 1 is a translational state, I'll say like that. Electron can have two states here. Electron, whatever received on the screen, it can have two states. Okay, either it can pass through slit 1 or it can pass through slit 2. Okay, if it pass through slit 2, I am going to call it has a state psi 1. We call that in a translation state. Wait a moment, I am going to define that one. Okay, now. So very similar to what you call it is very important to explain single electron experiment here. Okay, because so suppose if you say again for single electron how this interference happened. In case of what you call optics, remember you had two entity, wave from slit 1, wave from slit 2, they were superimposing. You had two entity. But in case of electron double slit experiment, single electron double slit experiment, you have only one entity, isn't it, which are collected. Suppose you make arrangement, after electron reached here, you shoot another electron. You make some arrangement like that. So then also if you wait for a long time, the same pattern you will observe. And this is done in lab, okay, these things are done in lab, okay. So now what I am saying is, if suppose one electrons are shooted per time, how this pattern happened? How to explain that superposition of particle? You can't. Now again, if you have shooted many electrons, you could have said one electron from here, other electron from here superposed. But that is not, it's not making big electron. I get my point. That's also not true. No. Again, I am not observing. In this experiment, I am not observing. I will come to that observation experiment later. You don't know through which slit it is passing through. Okay, you are not observing that one. Okay, right now. Wait for a moment. Okay, wait for a moment. Or suppose if you shoot one electron, you can't say that electron is splitting into two. Isn't it? And passing through both slit. If that happens, then you had energy of one electron. Now it is passing through both slit, means again at that instant you had double the energy. You should answer for that doubling of energy, isn't it? And electron slice into two and pass through. That's also meaningless, isn't it? We always detect one full electron. We are not detecting half electron. Are you getting my point? So that's why I said it is also illogical to say that each electron split into two and superpose later, because again you should be able to answer the doubling of the energy. Am I right? You are sending only one electron, it has some energy. How energy can increase? That you can't answer. Okay. So like first we shall understand what are these psi 1 and psi 2. Okay. Now look at here. So we say this again just similar to E1 and E2. Psi 1, look at here, we say this is translation state of the electron. We say translation state of electron that came from slit 1 or that passed through slit 1. So similarly, psi 2. Okay. Now look at here. If I am closing this slit 2, all electrons were in this state. All electrons received on the screen were in this state. Suppose if you close slit 2, there is no possibility of electron pass through slit 2. There is no possibility of any electron which is received on the screen which came from slit 2. Okay. So then if you close slit 2, all electrons are in this state. Can I say like that? State. Just like ground state, first accelerated state in case of Bohr orbit. Is that okay? So similarly, psi 2 is a translation state of electron that came from slit 2. When you close slit 1, all of the electrons received on the screen, those were in this one. Those were in this state. When both slits are open, okay, psi 1, 2. What is the state of the electron when both slits are open? When both slits are open, this is equal to psi 1 plus psi 2. Now the question is, how do you know that when both slits are open, this is the state? Because, so when both slits are open, you are observing this pattern. This pattern is because of this state. Isn't it? I am not observing. I will come to observation tomorrow. Okay. When both slits are open, I am saying this is in this state, psi 1 plus psi 2. I call again one electron. I am talking about one electron. Okay. I am talking about single electron experiment. One electron. That psi 1 is the translation state of this, little bit deviation from optics. We had two entities over there. Okay. You have only one entity here. One entity, one electron per time you are sending, isn't it? You should be able to explain superposition of one electron, am I right? So that's why you had only one entity. That's why I called psi 1 is the translation state of electron that came from slit 1. Psi 2 is the translation state of electron that came from slit 2. Okay, electron can be in psi 1 state, or electron can be in psi 2 state, or electron can be in this state. I call it in a superposition state. Single electron can be in this state. I call this in a superposition state, which is out of our common sense. Now, how do I know that it is in superposition state? How do I say that it is in superposition state? So, because even for single electron experiment, so this is the pattern that I observe. This pattern is because of this one, mod square of this one. Is that okay? So that's why we are deviating from our classical idea. Yes, tell me. But in case of wave theory, look at you had two entities which are superposing, wave from slit 1, wave from slit 2. But here you have different situation. You had only one electron. We don't know through which slit it is passing through. You are not observing that one. Okay, that's why we define state for electron. What are those states? So that is translation state of electron that pass through slit 1, translation state of electron that pass through slit 2, superposition state. This is also possible state of the electron. Electron can be in that state, which is out of our common sense actually.
So we are comparing to earlier.
Yeah, again comparing to copying earlier mathematics only, we got this idea. But again, situation is different because you have only one electron experiment. You are doing one electron experiment. Wait for a while. Look at here.
Sir.
If you close slit 2, whatever electron you received here, those are in this state. Okay, psi 1 state. That's why the resultant is mod psi 1 square probability distribution. If you close slit 1, all electrons received on the screen, they have so they have this state, psi 2. So they are all in psi 2 state. So that's why, so again probability distribution is mod psi 2 square. Okay, when you expose both slit, state of the electron that is received on the screen, that is psi 1 plus psi 2. So that's why P12 that's equal to mod psi 1 to the whole square, or mod psi 1 plus psi 2 the whole square. That is nothing but our that will explain this pattern. So that's why here we got one new idea. One is a single electron. It's a kind of single entity for us. It can be in one state, it can be in other state, it can be in the superposition state. Okay, suppose if you observe here, you will get either this state or this state. If you observe through which state electron is passing through, you will get either through this one or through this one, isn't it? If you observe, you will get either this one or this one. Your observable outcomes you have two observable outcomes. But when you are not observing, it can be in the superposition of those states actually. That is the new concept here, superposition state. Wait. Suppose, look at here. If you say, just like bullet, electrons should have passed through either slit 1 or slit 2. That's what our common sense say, isn't it? Electron should be either in this state or in this state. That's the meaning, isn't it? Electron should either, whatever electron received here, it should have come either from slit 1 or from slit 2. It's what our common sense says. Electron, whatever received here, it should be in either psi 1 state or psi 2 state, isn't it? Okay. So suppose if it is true, if you have all electrons which are received on the screen, they are coming from either slit 1 or slit 2. Okay. Suppose if you have shooted, so 1000 electrons. Among them, so suppose 500 electrons which are collected on the screen, which are from slit 1. Those 500 electrons should follow this pattern. Other 500 electrons, so which are passing through slit 2, those should follow this pattern. And you should have observed merging of this pattern, not this pattern. You should have observed what you call continuous pattern like this, not this pattern. That's why electrons which are received here, they were in the superposition of two translation state. That is, this is one non-classical thing. Are you getting my point? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you send one electron per time, then also same. But with only one electron shooted, if you stop the experiment, then you can't see that one. It is collected somewhere here. 1 electron per time, you should wait for millions of electrons to be shooted. Okay? Are you getting my point? Yeah, wait a second, I'll explain this one again. Okay? Our common sense says that whatever the electrons received here, they should have either came from slit 1 or came from slit 2. Okay? So, electrons which are coming from slit 1, that we call that one as psi 1 state, electron coming from slit 2, we call that one as psi 2 state, isn't it? Our common sense says that. So, again whatever electron observed here, so that should be in either psi 1 state or psi 2 state. Okay? Now, I am shooting thousands of electrons. Okay? Among 1000, again according to our common sense, almost 500 electrons which came from slit 1. Suppose 1000 electron you have recorded here. I will not take 1000 electrons shooted because some electron hit other part also. I am not worried about the electron which is hitting other part of this one. Okay? I'm only thinking about electron which are passing through the slits here. There are other states of electron also. What are those states? Those are hitting here and scattered. I am not talking about that one. I am talking about only these two states which are passing through those two. Okay? So now look at here. Suppose 1000 electron I just counted here. Among those 1000, our common sense they say that around 500 came from slit 1. Around 500 came from slit 2. Isn't it? Now that 500 which came from slit 1, it should have produced this pattern. That 500 which came from slit 2, it should have produced this pattern. And our total pattern should be merging of these two. Isn't it? But that's not happening. That's why whatever the electron that is reaching screen, those are in the superposition of translation state. This is a new thing. Are you getting my point? Those electrons are not in this state or this state. They are in psi 1 plus psi 2 state. We call it a superposition state for a single electron. We define this one for single electron because after studying Schrodinger equation you will understand. Okay? So this also will be similar because these are the translation state, definite momentum state. We say e power I k dot r only. Okay? Again we shall see after Schrodinger equation solution also for a free particle we get wave function like this only.
Yes.
Huh? We shall study that one. I mean again this is even the functions are also very similar to whatever the function we get in optics. But that interpretation is different. Optics is a real electric field amplitude.
So in that side, we are not saying the state actually.
No, this is state only. No, in optics we don't say that one as state. It is a real electric field.
Yes.
In what you call quantum mechanics, we call it one as state. It has different it has different approach.
Yes.
Mod psi square is a probability. Is that okay? So it has different explanation. And it has different what you call target. The target of defining this one or what we are going to define next, that is different from that in case of optics.
Yes.
But he says clearly that each photon interferes with itself.
Interferes with itself. That may be okay. That word is okay. Yeah, that is okay. That word is okay. Each photon interferes with itself because these are the its own states. Am I right? These are its own state.
Yes, sir.
It got superposed. States of same particle, one particle, it got superposed.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
So these psi 1 and psi 2 after passing through the slit 1 and 2, not before.
Yeah, not before that one, they were not in psi 1 plus psi 2 state.
Yes.
Once you pass through that slit, you are before again without any observation, it will quickly go to that state. Again, we are concerned only about that one only. We are not concerned about what is the state before that one. We are concerned about the state of the electron which is received on the screen. Is that clear? That's why I am saying this is not classical one. You can't hold that one psi 1 plus psi 2 superposition state in any classical idea. That is non-classical. That is out of our common sense. But that is true.
Yes.
Because without that one, this pattern would not happen. If each electron on the screen, if it is either in this state or in this state, you should have got that mod psi 1 square plus mod psi 2 square, P1 plus P2. Now look at here. We are deviating from that pictures particle picture, wave picture. We are deviating from that one. Try to observe the different mathematics that nature is following. Are you getting my point? Because if we keep on thinking wave nature and particle nature, no. That's why. Look at here. You try to answer my earlier question. You can't measure without disturbing the system. It is out of common sense. We can't measure without disturbing the system at all. You are saying I do something without hurting the without disturbing the electron. That's not possible. No, not possible. Okay, I mean that is not only out of common sense. It is not possible in sense. At the minimum, you have to hit that one with a photon, and photon transfers momentum. Whatever the behavior it had, that will not be shown off. Are you getting me?
Sir, actually.
Wait. Let me again look at here. So that's why whenever you receive electron, that detector, that says it is a particle, but pattern says it's a wave. Now what it is? This question remains here, isn't it? That's why we are not concerned about whether it is a wave or particle. We are concerned about what is the rule our nature plays. That is this one. Unobserved this state, observed this state. I will convince that one tomorrow. Again, if you put detectors here, that detector says you got particle. It has a particle nature, because that detector work on particle nature only. Suppose any detector you say that will ionize something, or you can have some phosphorus material, phosphorus and something. Okay, that says you are detecting the particle. Okay, but pattern says it has a wave behavior, not this wave. Okay, this is a pattern. I am talking wave behavior. Some superposition, something is happening. Now what it is? Are you getting my point? So that's why Dirac clearly says that our target is not to convince any picture, wave picture or particle picture, or debating with that one. Our target is to find what is the rule that our nature is following. Is that okay? That rule we are trying to capture here, and formulating the theory on that rule. Are you getting my point? So then we go for linear differential equation. Why? Linear differential equation allows this kind of states actually. So superposition is also solution. Look at here. That's the formulation. Yeah. Now look at here. De Broglie wavelength. That's okay. That gave you de Broglie wavelength only gave you that it has a wave behavior, and again it will form pattern. That pattern fringe width depends on wavelength. Wavelength you can find it by h by p. Okay. Full stop. There is no evolution of the theory. Are you getting my point? It gave us lot of idea. Remember, quantum mechanics developed because of de Broglie hypothesis only. But again, what you do with that de Broglie wavelength, isn't it? You need to explain energy. You need to explain transitions. You need to explain how emission happens, absorption happens. You have lot of events that is needed to explain. That's why we are not even concerned about that one also, wave behavior, or how that matter wavelength appears, how matter wave looks. We are not concerned with that one, because those will not give us the framework of the theory. Framework of the theory again can be done only when you observe carefully and collect all the rules. Just like if you don't know how to play chess, just observe chess carefully. Again.
So sir, we are observing the matter wave because we can't explain the matter wave properly from the de Broglie hypothesis. That's why we are explaining this Dagostino experiment of observation of all.
Yeah. We understood some more, isn't it? Beyond the de Broglie hypothesis.
So we are evolving the
This is the evolution of the theory.
observation.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody, yes, tell me. There is no physical meaning of this probability amplitude, because it is not any electric field or magnetic field, isn't it? There is no physical significance for probability amplitude, even though it is fundamental.
Okay.
Wave function has no physical significance, only mod psi square have got physical significance. Wave function may be complex. What do you give physical significance for? Complex function. You can't give any physical significance. Are you getting my point? It can be complex also. We shall see that one. Yeah. Now you better hold your doubt, put it into Slack and discuss, and read my notes carefully. And next part also. Yes.
Sir, which electron containing superposition state?
Electron?
From coming one slit 1 and slit 2.
No, I am not getting. Speak again. Will electron?
Containing superposition state coming from one slit or two slits.
One or two? No. After you say it is passing through slit 1, it is in this state. That is not superposition state. After you say it has passed through slit 1, it is already, you are saying that it is in this state. If you say already it is in this state, then that is not superposition state. We say possible measurement outcome state actually. Yes. I'll convince that one. Okay, as time goes, I'll convince this one. And I'm going to quote this double slit experiment again and again throughout the theory. Okay.